parasites like an angry bee, shooting every pirate I see. Actually I'm following local security. I got my ship kit and my lasers colored, got my ship skin and Top Gun glasses on. I'm the biggest killer, you'll meet, but you'll never see me, 'cause I play in solo. Fireball, but so fast and deep, you'll be on your knees. Run, crossing through your veins will bring you down, will bring you down. Fireball, but so fast and deep, you'll be on your knees. Run, crossing through your veins will bring you down, will bring you down. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Whoa, 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 oh, 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 oh. Sailing into ACG, I got my radar filled with a tasty cargo. Trying in the open for a second or three and get my ass whipped like I'm playing escargot. Enhanced speed and my hull so plated I can Thargoids solo, and that's a fact. I wish gluttony fame was me, but I'm not gluttony, always too greedy. But so fast and deep, you'll be on your knees. The venom coursing through your veins will bring you down, will bring you down. But so fast and deep, you'll be on your knees. The venom coursing through your veins will bring you down, will bring you down. Whoa, oh, 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 oh,
Brave ships and brave folk from centuries ago strive to find more in the night. Before they could jump, yeah, before space got small, the only way there was to take your time, take a generation, build a shrine to your generation, make your way between the stars, and hope that your children will care for your soul. Achilles was lost to those dangerous computers. Artemis just had one sight. Atlas abandoned except for one poor soul. Demeter turned tribal with no food and cannibal. The fighting kept on till they died. Epimetheus had a thief left alone. His writings recorded as proof. Hyperion had its own second coming. Zechariah, he told them his truth and invented their souls. Take your time, take a generation, build a shrine to your generation, make your way between the stars, and hope that vacuum caught a virus so dark from an asteroid. Medicine cannot save their lives. Odysseus got ill, but they couldn't find the will. Just leave their birthplace and turn to their dark place, and no one was left in life. Thaddeus was lied to, then the secret got out. The factions got lost in the fight. Phobos found Eden, but it just left them bleeding. As aliens ate them and finally followed them into their ships and they died. Spirit hope gone. Fetus got a message and everyone started killing. Phoenician head raiders raided then red, and the deacon did betray them. Lazarus didn't have enough boats for all the poor souls to depart on. But Golconda had a viral infection, reached out for help from the modern mankind. Take your time, take a generation, build a shrine to your generation. heard a cobra landing near the town. Thought it was an apex, but nobody was around. So I got back to my duties, then I walked into the lab. Thought I saw the Reaper leaping madly in the black. If this is my time, then I'm ready. Is this the day that I die? I saw a man crawling on the floor, peering through the windows with a scanner, maybe more. So I checked back on my data and headed to the hab. Had a drink, stood by the table, and felt a gun stuck in my back. If this is my time, then I'm ready. Was it Vasquez from the other settlement? She swiped me once on Tinder, didn't return her calls. I was busy refining stuff, didn't think it would matter at all. But I know she had a temper, purpose for a gun. Know they murder hobos now, leaping around and having their fun. Come on. One step nearer, down falls the curtain. Here comes the curtain.
Hello and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite.
And the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous.
And the fantastic
community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from a foreign Sidewinder and hosted by a vending machines technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads.
A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Dizzo.
The name of the place.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 518 of Lave Radio, the show that talks about the universe of Elite Dangerous and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix Tafire, otherwise known as Colin Ford, Chief Archivist of Lave Station, and joining me in the Ori Sainwani Bar for this episode, we have our Staff Liaison Officer, Commander Psykit, otherwise known as Clare.
Hi.
We have our SRV Banksy, that'd be Alec Turner.
Evening all.
And also joining us is the tech primate, the Chris Mark V.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome you all.
Also joining us, we got one more.
Oh, yes, well, we do have a Pathis as well.
Yes.
That's
I,
nice.
for some reason, I thought Apathis was doing tech, and
Nope.
But nope, never mind.
Other way around.
Around, but we're all chatting. That's
Absolutely.
the important bit. Sorry about that, Pathis. Anyway, if you wish, you can join us live. I think someone's hanging out on the station at Lave Radio.
It's Apathis. He's doing it.
There you go. So Apathis is there at the bar. But if you can't get to us in-game, you can join the Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live. Click on the live chat, or go to twitch.tv/laveradio, or you'll find us on YouTube as well, even though we're not really talking there. Anyway, let's go around the crew, see how they are, and as Apathis is on bar duty, we'll start with him.
Yeah, I'm good.
Right, fine, okay.
Yeah, so I just forgot what usually happens on this bit.
Well, what have you been up to, Apathis? How you doing, mate?
That's it. That's
There
what I
it
was doing.
What you been doing? What you been doing in the game? Is everything okay?
Yeah, playing a lot of Elite, and then I think it was Tuesday evening or Wednesday, I decided to fly out to Beagle Point.
Oh, just a small thing then.
Yeah, just something silly to do. So Neutron started out there. It was like 311 jumps, and then found out that the Elite Racers was starting at the weekend. So ended up taking the escape pod back from a fleet carrier.
U-turn and come screeching back for the racing. That's class.
Yep. I've now got to wait about 8 days for my Mandalay to come back, but other than that, it's good.
8 days.
Is that the transfer time?
Yeah, that's a transfer time out there.
Does it cost? How much does it cost you? Was it a lot? No, it's probably because it doesn't cost that much because some of it's a bought thing.
It was about 200 million, but that's
pocket change, mate. Pocket change.
Yeah, that's a fully paid one. Not the because I keep the pre-build for if I need it in an emergency somewhere.
Ah, okay.
I tell you what, I mean, I'm not for instant transfers, but 8 days—that's too much. That is too much.
Yeah.
Alex,
When I
sorry.
looked at how much it
Yeah.
cost to transfer the Anaconda out there, and it was 3 billion.
Ow. That is just
Yeah.
ow.
Ooh, 3 billion to transfer from the bubble to.
A bit much.
To Beagle, yeah.
Wow.
I hate to. Yeah, well, yeah, that transfer pilot will definitely earn his money.
Yep.
Excellent. Right. Moving on from there, we'll go for Commander Alec Turner.
Much, yeah. I've been up to all sorts. Friday night, you never guess who played at our local Indian restaurant. Only flipping Elton John. Elton John. Went to see, so we went and had a meal at a local Indian restaurant and listened to Elton John.
Actual Elton John.
The actual genuine Elton John on the piano.
Did he play Rocket Man? Because I feel that would be fitting for
him. He played Rocket Man, he played I'm Still Standing, he played Yellow Brick Road, I can't remember.
Just to clarify again, just to be absolutely certain, this isn't like the actual genuine Elvis that Chris McQuell sends me when he goes to Greece.
It's exactly like Chris Mark IV's actual Elvis.
Okay, all right, perfect, that's fine.
Got it?
Yeah, I get it now.
Cool, good. And then, and then on Saturday went to Hatfield House for soup and a roll, as you do. Restaurant's gone downhill. Don't recommend it. In game, I went on a bit of a tour. Actually, I went to Seoul first to have a look at the kind of memorial beacon that's turned up there, and then also to nip into the debris field and spent maybe half an hour, but didn't get any Titan drive components. But I don't actually. I'm not desperate for any yet. But
no.
Anyone got any tricks and tips on how to find them, or is it just patience?
Patience. I'm afraid to say.
People have got like a confirmation bias on them, like, oh, I've done this and it's the easiest way for me to find them. And I'm skeptical of any of those kind of things. So
I feel like I just tend to drift across the site, one side to the other with flight assist off, so I can just drift across, and I just keep watching my context panel basically.
Yeah, we're a bit more hesitant to put any recommendations in after last week's power play.
Tarnish our perfect reputation. And then as Epapha says, will there be more of this in community news? But there's a new series of elite race events starting up. The first one is this Saturday, so I've been practicing for that. Boy, it's a gnarly old course. It's very icy. It's an SRV course, and you slip and slide all over the place. It does need a bit of practice. And as of 30 seconds before Lave Radio went live, I've just uploaded a new time trial to ED Copilot for it. So if people want to get their practice on, they can just do it as an ED Copilot time trial. And I have done 0 Power Play weeklies for the second week running, because you don't have to.
Oh dear.
I don't understand. That makes no sense to me, Alec.
Fine.
Some things to do.
Of course there are. Okay then, Claire.
So I've done what have I done out of game? Not a huge amount. I don't think I've been to see any movies or anything like that. I've been working on bits and pieces. I've just been doing a lot of work on my computer on creating things that aren't quite ready yet. And boarding and planning and those kind of things. That's a good thing with me. That's basically what I've been doing offline. Is just a lot of working on the PC and things like that. No, I'm so boring. I'm editing videos or streaming. Those are the two things that I do. I've been playing a bit more Airborne Empire, which is a really it's a dozy of a game. It's really nice. We've got I've been playing a bit more Planet Coaster, which has been really fun and just chill. Although I did have an appointment today and Chris came home from work and was like, "Claire, you ready for that appointment?" And I was still streaming, so that was a bit like,
That was a no then.
It's a bit moreish. It's a bit moreish, and you lose track of time when you're placing dozens of orange squares to fill up something in a row. That can be a bit just like my focus goes on that, and that's about it. We have what else have I been up to? Not much. What have I been up to in Elite? Well, I did my mandatory power play. I'm getting a little bit concerned though, because I'm getting close to I'm like at level 36 now, so I'm not far away from level 40, which means I'm going to get 10, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I don't know if they're going to be good enough for like if I have hollow screen hacking, whether or not there's going to be one in the system for me to hack or anything along those lines. So I think when you get 10 missions, the likelihood of there being one that you're just not able to complete probably goes up by quite a bit. But aside from that. I had 3 of my power play missions were on foot power play missions. So I don't know. I don't know what else I've been doing. I did a little bit of BGS. We did a little bit of war in one of our systems, sort of like just spreading out a little bit, doing stuff for just a little bit of prep for getting all, what's the thing when you get everything in order? Get all your something in order.
Ducks in a row?
Ducks in a row, yeah, call it that. Well, I think we've been sort of like getting our ducks in a row and getting all sort of comfortable with where we are in prep for what colonization might be, something along those lines. But we'll...
So you're trying to get your faction out to the edge.
Well, the fact, no, not out to the edge, not at all, because there's spaces in the middle. But it's just nice to have a we just have a lovely little space, and the thing is, we've just expanded into a system, which is great, and it's a really, really nice system. And it's got 2 factions that were non-native factions, but they're player-supported factions. Like, there were factions that players got added to the game. So we know that there are people supporting them, and one of them owns an asset, and we wish that we'd gone in above that person so we wouldn't have to get into a conflict, because when we take the asset away from them, they're not going to have an asset in that system anymore, and that's kind of a problem, and I don't know how to fix it, which is or we've tried to do the math to fix it, and I think the math to fix it is just like, hey lads, is it all right if we just take this? Which isn't particularly the thing that we want. But yeah, that's been about it. It's I've missed the BGS. It's been nice doing the BGS again. That's about it, really.
Excellent. Chris Mark 5, I take it you've been BGSing as well?
I haven't, unfortunately. I've kind of been a bit busy with everything going on with work stuff, and that I haven't really been able to dedicate much hours to Elite this week. I've been keeping an eye on what's going on and seeing all the letters being written, and it's lovely. Democracy Manifest. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals, played some Helldivers, did some Democracy properly, and that's about it. I've had a really weird, gaming few weeks just because of how life is at the moment for me. So yeah,
we have been playing an awful lot of Marvel
3
Rivals together and Baldur's Gate 3 modded together. That is fair. But when I've been sat at my computer and I've not been working, I've been playing video games with my husband. So when it's not been Elite.
But I've been keeping an eye on Elite, of course, because
yeah, because you need to. Yeah. Okay, well, quickly for me then. Thankfully, it's tax season for all those that know. So if you have a small company like I do, then you've got to get all your tax returns in, and thankfully mine just went in today. So that's a relief. Dear. So there's an awful lot of stress, just relieved from the Ford household at the moment. And unfortunately, I was talking to the lawyer about all the stuff with the court and my mum's will, and the two reasons why it got rejected, according to the lawyer. One, I didn't include my brother's middle name in one of the boxes.
Wow.
Yeah. I had the letter A in the wrong place.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
And also, the order that I had listed all the assets was numbered wrong. So yes, I get the feeling that these guys play Trivial Pursuits to an absolute lethal level. No, can't take that. It's the Tale of Two Cities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're just there going, whoa, what? So yeah, I've gone through with our family solicitor, and we've gone tick, 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 tick. Here, have a check. Oh, and by the way, you'll need the proper will. So I went, what? I haven't been sending the right will. And they went, no.
Wow.
Oh, thanks. You guys told me this was the right will. So yes, that basically dealing with bureaucracy this week. On the video gaming front, 2 days to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. And of course, my Final Fantasy VII Remake series is still going up on YouTube at the moment, which is always fun. But in Elite, it's been a bit nuts with power play. I've only done 3 of my weeklies, because at the moment, poor Arissa is under attack everywhere, being undermined everywhere. So I am running around like a blue-ass fly. No, we got to get some reinforcement happening here. We got to get some reinforcement here. We're going to lose this system. No, we can't. So even though we're doing quite well, there's a tipping point coming. And I don't want that tipping point to happen. So, yeah, I'm getting I don't care about my weeklies. I want to keep my power, or help keep my power stable, which I think that is what's getting me into power play. I don't care about the weeklies or getting up the power ranks.
They're mandatory, Colin. God.
If we lose the system, it's not mandatory. If we lose the system, it's my back against the wall. Thank you very much.
I'm not going to lie, I'm disappointed.
Anyway, the other two are actually impossible to do. There's one of those on foot. This is the first time I actually got an on foot power play mission, and I walk into the base and go, I know what I'm doing. 30 seconds later, I don't know what I'm doing, as the shots fire over me left, right, and centre.
Oh no!
It did cause quite a lot of hilarity when the people were streaming it, and people just went, "You ain't done that right." Well, yes, it's all these laser bolts flying over the top of my head. Run away! So, yes, I need a bit more practice at those. A lot more practice. So, yes, bureaucracy and general incompetence. That's been my week. So, let's move on to the wonderful world in Frontier, the development news. Well, they haven't actually said anything about the game per se on the forums. However, what has happened is on Wednesday, Frontier released their 6-month results. Now, this goes from beginning of June 2024 to November, end of November 2024. And it was a relief to actually see these results come in. Frontier are definitely back in the black. They made £4 million plus profit. £4 million of profit plus, so slightly more than 4 million, in that time period, which was good to hear, very reassuring. Of course, it must be noted that 22% of that income actually came from Planet Coaster 2 sales.
Does not surprise me.
Yeah, so that's quite a lot of stuff together. But This is actually a first for a couple of years. Elite got a couple of mentions in these reports. Normally they just say, they say Elite is part of the stable of the games. They don't actually mention anything about the performance. They have said specifically, and I quote, outside of the CMS games, Frontier's genre-leading space simulator game, Elite Dangerous, which celebrated its 10th anniversary in December, achieved a substantial increase in revenue in the period through new story elements and the release of both free and chargeable content. Continues with new story elements and ships. Elite Dangerous revenue from both the base game and paid downloadable content grew versus the comparable period. In fact, the PDL sales, which is paid download content, almost doubled through strong player engagement. Now, for that period, the actual paid download content was the Type 8 and the Mandalay, because the Python Mark II and the Cobra Mark V were outside that time period. And also, the catch-up ships. So in that alone doubles Elite Dangerous's revenue. And then I thought, I was quite cheered up about that. And then the guard frequency kind of spoils it for me today, because they all said, yeah, but, it's double of nothing. I thought, yeah.
That's not really fair, because Colin, you spend at least £50 a month or something, don't you? You're single-handedly fighting the elite side of Frontier, right? Just to clarify.
Well, we do think that the reason that they were in profit in the previous half of the year was because of the Python Mark II. Dear. Well, anyway, yeah. So overall, it's good overall.
Just to clarify, Colin, it isn't just those two ships, is it? It's also the pre-builds that went out with them.
Yes, I thought I mentioned them, but yes, the pre-builds. Unfortunately, there's also the additional ship skins and all the stuff that came with them, and yeah.
I think a lot of people did. From what my experience was, I think quite a few people were kind of interested in at least some of the pre-builds for that, especially with the Thargoid War. The pre-built Crate Mark II went down really well with a lot of people.
Yes, completely. I mean, when you actually count it all up, at the moment, Odyssey plus Standard Elite is about 15 quid.
Mm-hmm.
When you add, in fact, you can still get it for free at the moment if you haven't got a copy through Prime and the Epic Store. So that's still going to happen until February the 2nd, I think. But that's 15 quid for the base game. For those new ships, that's 15 quid for both of them. When you add it all up, so basically you've bought Elite again.
Okay. I'm not sure what you're trying to say with that.
I'm just saying that it's bringing them in a lot more money.
Oh, right, okay. I thought you were criticizing people for buying it again a second time.
No.
I was like, oh, that's weird. That's what I didn't know what you were trying to say with it.
No, I'm just trying to say that sort of for the, if you'd actually bought it way back when, it would have been what, 30 quid for the original game, 40 quid for Horizons, and then another 30 quid for Odyssey. That's how much it would have been all put together. Yeah. But at the moment, you get the whole thing for 15 quid, plus also, it's good value to get the ships as well. But
yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry if that didn't come across.
Yeah, no, I didn't want it to come across like the wrong way or something. You know what I'm like?
Yeah. So, the largest contribution came from Frontier's established portfolio, which is Planet Coaster, Planet Zoo, Jurassic World Evolution, and Jurassic World Evolution 2, which together recorded £24 million worth of revenue. Nothing won about F1 there, because I was hoping that F1 did a bit better, because this year's iteration was a lot better than last year's iteration. But yeah.
That's the only iterations we're going to get, Colin. So enjoy that while you can.
Oh, there's not going to be another one next year?
I don't believe so. I believe there was a thing. Please, I'm going to say, Chris, please back me up with this one. I'm sure there was something that said that contract had been.
Yeah, I don't think they've renewed the license for it, unfortunately.
Well, yeah. Well, I can understand why, because it hasn't sold as well as I hoped it would. I expected that one to do gangbusters, to be honest. But
it's such a niche market, man.
I don't know. Then you look at Football Manager, and then football, and that is
a lot more people
football's
watch
played in a lot
football
of countries.
Yeah, a lot of people watch football and play football. More of those people are football supporters who are like, I could do it better than you than the F1 managers. Although I'm still certain that I could do it better than Ferrari ever could. I don't know how much now, but I mean, a couple of years back.
Yeah, I just think of that the muck up at Monaco but yeah, let's move on from there. Yes.
Can I, on top of the development news that we've had with Frontier this week, just touching on other things that have been announced really recently today, just explaining, just sort of clarifying that Frontier, hey, they're back at work. They've got a hot fix coming out for Planet Coaster 2 tomorrow, and they've announced that their first update 3 for Planet Coaster 2 is coming out, I think, in the middle of February. The 12th, was it? Or the 22nd? It's one of the two.
13th, I think.
Thanks, Epaphras. It was neither, it turns out. As it turns out, it was neither, but it is coming in the middle of February, which means Frontier were back at work and doing things. So big thumbs up.
Yeah. So overall, good news. I think. What's everybody else's reaction?
I mean, seeing that they've said there was an increase in money coming in from Elite Dangerous because of the ships makes me hopeful we'll get some more, because they made money, so why would they not do the thing to make more money?
Yeah.
Well, quite.
And there's still some obvious gaps which need to be filled, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, even if there aren't, there's only 4 ships that are stable under SCO at the moment. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I've barely flown a ship that isn't stable under SCO.
Oh, no. Well, until the Cobra Mark 5 came out, I've constantly, for mission running, I constantly used my Cobra Mark 3. And it was jumpy as heck, but it was still better than the alternative.
Oh, no, for me, our area of space has quite a few different systems that have very distant stars, so 30k, that kind of stars. So having an unstable SCO kind of took all the fun out of it. So I've very handedly leaned in that direction of SCO ships. I've barely flown a Corvette.
Wow.
And when I've barely flown a Corvette, that means something.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Maybe they need to come out with some stabilizers that could be available for ARCs.
It's interesting. I'm looking at next year's, actually this year's Buckyball series, and thinking about the regulation ship, and we're probably going to swap out the Mark III and go for the Cobra Mark 5. But even if we stuck with the Mark III, I think the time of the non-SEO drive is gone.
Yeah.
And we would definitely swap it up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you. We've talked about it. We've talked about it a fair amount. It's been things that come up. It's time to sunset that race a little bit.
I don't necessarily mind the instability of the older ships. It's sort of fun in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. It's just, I can. If I was doing something to Hutton Orbital and it was jumping around like that, then I would, I'd be like Claire, this is too far. It's not too much. But anything under, I think, 50,000 light seconds, I'm fine with.
Oh yeah, no, I can't be asked.
Yeah.
What's the easiest way for me to do something, and I will do it.
No, I mean, yeah, it's whatever your tolerance is. I
Yeah.
mean, but when you go from the Mark III, which is jumping around the place, to the Mark V, oh, forget it. It's Mark V every time.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I'm quite relieved that they've pulled it around.
I hope this is a trend as well. I hope this is we'll see a focus on. Well, they stated in the financials that it's demonstrative of the changes that they made, and they're going to continue their focus onto the CMS games, which includes the third as yet unannounced game, which come on, Planet Zoo 2. I'm hopeful for as well. But there's another Jurassic World game coming either the end of this year or the financial year 26, that said.
Yeah.
And then the further as of yet unannounced game, which is very exciting. I'm excited.
Well, I mean, the thing is, when it comes down to these kind of development streaks or development, they will be pre-planning not a game for next year, but obviously games for about 3-4 years in advance now.
Yeah.
Because these are big projects, so it'll be interesting to see where they take it. But it's reassuring that for the moment, at least, everything seems to be on the upward trend.
Long may it continue, Frontier.
So I am going to hand over to Alec for him to take up the community news.
And now, to the community coroner.
It's a dead game, innit, mate?
Sorry, I'm very flustered. I really should not try and do Elite Racer time trials at the same time as Lave. It's not working. So if I miss anything off my list, please forgive me.
It's multitasking. That's the problem.
Yeah, it turns out I'm not very good at it. Right. Up first, we have a fantastic new High Wake video. Actually, it's a High Wake and Tokoso production. Tokoso has written a superb, I guess I would call it a sea shanty about forgetting your limpets. And High Wake's done his usual magic to it, and the combination is a thing of joy and beauty. Everyone agrees, I assume.
100%. It's very good.
Oh, yeah.
It's very, very good. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's lovely. I can't stop humming the song. It's lovely. Right, next, I will attempt to pronounce at least some of this. It's a video, Elite Dangerous Aufnach Andromeda, and then I won't try and pronounce the rest. It's by Science Keeper. The translation is another particularly nice video at the beginning of the year. Everything I love about the game in about 2 minutes. The community, the view, simply fantastic. It is a lovely exploration montage video with some nice music. Why I particularly recommend it is at around about the 1 minute 40 mark. It's from an expedition from the Stellar Nebula project, which I assume is a group. I confess I hadn't heard of them. But they've arranged their ships in the shape of their initials SNP, beautifully arranged, and then they all rotate and do their mass jump. It's fabulous. It's a really, really nice stunt, and it looks absolutely amazing. So recommended for that alone. Next. Yes, next was a video I only spotted today. Actually, I always like it when I see new people or people I'm unfamiliar with, at least in the Elite Dangerous world, making videos about how fabulous Elite Dangerous is. Because frankly, I love watching videos where people rave about Elite Dangerous. Can't get enough of them. This is called Playing Elite Dangerous with Intent. The YouTube channel is Exploring the Digital Frontier, Rob Farquhar. And it's about 10 minutes long, and it's a pretty thorough overview of Elite Dangerous, considering the length of the video, actually, covering all the basics of what Elite Dangerous is and what sort of things you can do. But then he just goes into his thoughts on, as he describes it, playing it mindfully and with intent. I suppose what he's getting at is rather than just playing it as a game that you crank up for 10 minutes and play mindlessly and then put away again. It's his thoughts on giving yourself some sort of sense of purpose in the game and setting out with sort of personal goals and trying to make it a bit more than just a casual bit of gaming. It's quite nice. It's quite nice. Yeah. Next, what have I got next? Oh yeah, there's a couple of videos you could dip. It's more on the blockade event in HIP 22460, which I think we're going to come on to more later. But this one's called the Elite Scout: Legend and Lore of the Thargoid Blockade. The YouTuber is Modern Spectrum, featuring the Elite Scout. Actually, loads of videos on this channel which look really interesting, so I was subscribed and I'll try and watch a few more of these. I think the logo, for those that may recognise it, is it's kind of the old 8-bit Elite logo on the screen. But yeah, it's just some sort of reflections on the blockade event. This is one of the players that got involved in that, and thoughts beyond that on Frontier continuing to support community events like this going forward. And and I think it kind of ties in with a lot of thoughts that Claire's had in recent shows about Frontier handing over the narrative to the players a little bit more. And yeah,
that's a really good idea. I think he's got really good ideas.
Yeah, and I think there's a trend on that, and yeah, it's good stuff. I haven't got a link on this, but I'll just throw in that I'm still following iTolu's Isinona-like adventure series. There's about 9 of them now, and they've all been excellent. And his ability to fly flight assist off is progressing nicely. It's great.
I have put a link to their channel in the show notes.
Oh, okay, cool. It's great to watch. Next up is Nicey, who we feature Nicey's blogs quite often. And they've also developed a thing called the Power Play Assistant, which is a website at elite.niceygy.net. And it is basically, I haven't used, actually, Claire, did you say you had dabbled with it?
Okay, I wish I it's very much in beta, and I know Epaphras says you've used it as well, haven't you, mate? It's incredibly in beta. So when I went to try and use it, it totally crashed on me, and it wasn't giving me the right information.
Okay.
But the premise that she's got in there is you want to do something in game to do with your power play. You've got something and you're saying who you're doing it for. You're basically like, I want to do this. This is what the mission I've got. This is who I'm doing it for. And it will give you information and like a way to complete that, which is 100% something that is absolutely needed. So when it's working properly, I think it's going to be phenomenal. And she is also taking sort of like requests as well for adding and building to it. So it's proper good.
Yeah.
The idea of it is proper good. I haven't been able to use it in practice as of yet for reasons of it being a lot of clever coding that I don't understand.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I'm just looking at it now, and you sort of go, well, I'd like to do some bounty hunting, and I'm pledged to Prano Vantal, and I'm kind of in the vicinity of this system, I guess. And it presumably then goes and recommends what you could do. Seems like a super idea. So wish Nicey the best with developing that.
Yeah, it's even updated more than the last time I looked at it, because the specify system wasn't an option there that was available last time, but that's specifically what I asked for. So I'm really happy with this. Thanks, Nicey.
Yeah.
Legend.
Okay, excellent. Right, 2 more big-ish things. So I've mentioned this in various weeks that the elite racers are going to do a series of events. The post is finally up. It's all happening. So there are going to be 8 events, each one named after one of the Thargoid Titans. So the first event will be the Tyrannus Tussle. Each event will either be SRV racing or ship racing, or there's a couple of the events which feature a little bit of both. They're live events, so unlike Buckyball, we're meeting up at a place and time to do racing. So if anyone fancies coming to join us, it's going to be an absolute hoot. The first one is this Saturday, at 1800 UTC. Probably best to jump in the Elite Racers Discord. I'm sure there's links to that lying around. It's going to be at the Nock Track Ihasovich Research Facility. Some folks may remember this. It's a planetary settlement that's near a crashed Thargoid ship. We did a buckyball race there years ago called Kick the Alien and Run Like Hell. Yeah, the landscape's all shuffled around since then. That was Horizons days, but there is still a base with a crashed Thargoid ship next to it. And Tobias von Brandt designed a fabulous little SRV cross track that weaves around it. It is hella slippery, and there's blooming rocks, and the terrain is treacherous as hell. So it actually is a real kind of driver's track. You've got to be really careful on the throttle not to skid out, and so it takes a lot of skill to get around it, but once you get the hang of it, it's super fun. I've been practicing a lot this week. So yeah, so that's this Saturday at 1800 UTC in the Elite Races. Last in community news, but I think we might kind of postpone this, the big discussion on this till later, but it's just to say that Aramis Kamzul posted in the Elite Dangerous forum, as promised, a big thread on the possibility of a Distant Worlds 3. Just to clarify, it's not an announcement that Distant Worlds 3 is happening. It's very much a thread garnering opinion on Distant Worlds 3, the reasons why they didn't do one ages ago, the fact that it's now 10 years and they're very much thinking of doing one, and who's interested. And I have to say, looking at the forum post just now, a hell of a lot of people are interested, so it seems likely it will go ahead. I think if we agree, we'll save more on that to the main discussion, though.
100%, absolutely. Yeah, sounds good.
Yep.
In which case, that's me.
Well, if you have a community event taking place soon and you'd like us to shout about it across the airwaves, tweet us at the crew at Lave Radio or email us at info@laveradio.com. But Alec will probably find you out anyway. So, yes. So, the in-game events. What has been happening this week? Well, there's only really been one mention in Galnet. And that has been on the 16th this month. HIP 22460 has been declared free of Thargoids. After the AXI's event on the 12th, it has now been purged of Thargoids. I do believe what's left is a wreckage field. You don't get any Thargoids coming into you. The Proteus wave on the planet is still visible, and the planet is still locked, so you can't land on it. But as far as going for Thargoid hunting there happening, it's not. It's completely, they've retreated from the system.
What you can do, I don't know if I said this in my intro, but what you can do there is go gathering all the logs. And there's dozens and dozens of logs, and I never managed to get them before because Thargoids always used to show up and make it very to do the scanning.
Oh, those are the logs from the ship, right?
Yeah, they're all the little, what are they called? They're like small black box, something like small black boxes in loads of the debris fields, and they're not spoken, they're just text.
Yeah.
But there's all little bits of dialogue about, from various ships at the moment that the Proteus wave went off. They're great. They're terrific.
Yeah. Oh, and some of them are heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But, it really describes the elation of what happened on that day, and then the absolute dread of what happened 30 seconds later. So, yes, a lot of dead men talking there. Or dead people talking, really. However, this did lead to some controversy, as it, yay, that's what we want. Yes, there was a tweet put out because of this from Battle Vortex, who, in short, was complaining that that means that we've just lost more gameplay, and these things should be left alone. And I want to start a petition that all these Thargoid sites like 22460 should be left alone, as it is for people to practice Thargoid combat and also do other things as well. Yes. So that kicked off a big debate, especially in our in our channel. Yes, we've put a link into the petition, and as well as a tweet for your own.
I've just linked the YouTube video that they tagged us in on Twitter because that's got links to everything else on the or under that in the description of that YouTube video, rather than giving you like millions of links. Just go and look at the YouTube video.
Yes, yes, about 8 minutes long, that video. So yeah, it's an interesting. So I will go round the table and ask for everybody's thoughts on this, because I have an opinion, and yeah. So who would you like to start? I think we'll start.
Actually, before we start, can I just quickly do something?
Certainly. Oh yeah, and
Good shout. Sorry.
Yeah. How people?
How many? How much petrol's that thing got in it? Because it's going to need a lot.
It runs off petitions.
It runs off salty tears. So
petitions, open letters.
It needs to run off open letters. Hell yes.
Okay, then I am going to start with the Chris Mark 5, because I suspect this will be the shortest answer. Should these things be left alone?
No, because this is a live service game. That means things move along. We can't find the gold cond anymore. That's buggered off somewhere, hasn't it? We don't know where, but we can't go and see that. And my personal friends, the Dredger clans, have vanished again.
Yep.
I want them back. You know, why aren't they coming back and just nomming up Titan remains and stuff? You know, that'd be cool. You know, you just drop in a Titan and there's like a Dredger just nomming it. But for so long, people have said that Frontier don't engage with the community. Frontier have engaged with the community for, I think, probably the first time I can remember for a long time. And the consequences of the community's actions is HIBT is free. It is now free. There's no danger flowers there. And Frontier have put something in game to represent that, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Anything else would be a step back to what we had, where communities would get together, do things in game, and nothing would change. This is a step forward. More things should be like this, but I also think that needs to be tempered with expectations as well. And that's all I've got to say.
Yes. That is quite understandable. I got a sneaky suspicion that this will be now reworded by everybody else, but carry on. Okay, Claire.
Oh,
go on then.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I've got anything of import to add. I mean, with tempered expectations, I think is really, really important. So I may have touched on this before. Very, very unlikely that you will have heard me say this. But with Frontier working towards a more player-based narrative and the players actually taking control of the thing, I think this is going to be the norm. We're going to see more of this. We're going to see more reactive stuff on like these large-scale events. I will add, the only stellar screenshot that I have is a screenshot of a thing that doesn't exist in the game anymore, which was that midpoint of the little spire sites between the spire sites appearing and them not being there at all.
Barnacle matrices.
Yeah, those things that no longer exist in the game and nobody's going to be able to see them. If you didn't get to see them or participate with them in the game, that sucks. It's a different time. No one is going to be the first person to be hyperdicted again. No one is going to have that experience. It's a live service game. We move on. As far as tempering expectations is concerned, I think Frontier, as long as you are doing something that sits within the realm of the law and something that Frontier can actually fully grab hold of and manipulate to run with what they're doing. And I'm going to cite Operation Witch Hunt with this, because it was such a big scale thing that we did, that happened, and it was with no expectation. It was just something to engage the community and get people doing something where there wasn't anything that existed, and something that had had like this a tangible thing that you could see results directly. And Frontier went, okay, we're going to write about this. And I love the fact that they've started picking other things to do with that. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. But I think you need to focus about what, like, if you're going to think about doing something like this, much like the AXI did, much like the power play struggle over Sol, when Sol was no longer a thing, when Sol was no longer like a power play thing, and then people tried to get in and they couldn't, and like, I wasn't really paying that much attention, but Frontier covered it because it was a thing that they could tangibly measure and stuff. It's when people then start going, we're going to write our own law, and have those same expectations. And I think that's the added point that I have on the back of what Chris said. I agree with him entirely, because obviously I do, but we've both had very long, full rants about this in cars when we've been going places.
Yeah, so we've only got the condensed version here, folks. I guess we can be thankful.
It's very rare that me and Chris have an argument where we both actually agree, but we're mad about stuff.
an agreeing argument. I've had those.
Where you're just like angry at the world, so you're just mad in a car,
Apathis, what do you think?
Yeah, I quite liked that something happened there. Because obviously, when we first heard about the event and was going out there attacking the Thargoids, we were like, nothing's going to happen out of it. And now the system's changed, and it's an evolving galaxy. It's not static. So, yeah, that's good. And it's also opened up that system for people who want to go, like Alex said, collect the logs, look at all the Vex, all the nice screenshots. It's,
it's
nice
now
to
history,
see
isn't it?
A response.
Yeah.
So, Alec, yes, your turn then.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a really good point, that it's now history, because before HIP 2460 was a bit sort of in the crossroads. It was kind of full of history. All the logs were there, but there were also Thargoids and anti-Guardian fields, which is a bit weird because the war's over, so it didn't feel quite right to me anyway. So in this instance, I thought it was terrific, actually, that Frontier reacted to it, and I think it was excellent that it's changed. There's a couple of interesting points I wanted to touch on. One thing, in this particular instance, in the petition, it talks about how the system has been changed by individual player groups, diminishing the rich narrative fabric of Elite Dangerous. We call upon the game developers to restore the system to its former state. I mean, that is incorrect. Although the players went there for a laugh, it's entirely on Frontier that they decided to change that system. It's not, the players didn't change it. The players went there for a meetup. Frontier decided to react to that and change that system. So I just wanted to address the accusation that players changed that system.
Yeah, there wasn't a Titan there to restore the system, was there?
They didn't even go there with the intention to change the state of that system. They went there for a laugh. They went there for a big bun fight, and
yeah, and on top of that, Frontier actually made the bun fight better because there were combat zones there as well.
Yeah,
when the guys got there were combat zones that weren't in the system before, and I thought that was a nice touch from Frontier, actually. I know there was a lot of sort of instancing issues, but overall, it did come across quite well.
Yeah,
100% agree.
I think it worked out really cool. And the other thing, which I just picked up from a video, I didn't included this week's community corner because I had one last week, but Meccan did he does a sort of weekly Thargoid thing, I think, a roundup, and he commented a bit more, possibly in reference to this petition. I'm not entirely sure, but he made a very good comment on the practicing thing. I think some people were saying, we've taken away Frontier have taken away a Thargoid practice ground. I don't know, but I trust Meccan on this. He's basically saying nobody's practicing there. It's not a good place to do Thargoid practice.
100%, it definitely isn't. It used to have you had to have you no longer have to have an anti-guardian engineering on your thingy on your weapons anymore. That's the only thing that's changed. But you go and practice. You go and practice down in the Pleiades, or you go and practice down at Asterope. I'm pretty sure they're still there, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, all that stuff's there. Still happening in the California Nebula.
Yeah. I mean, all that we've lost in a way is a little bit of atmosphere. Like I say, one of the Elite Racer events that I mentioned is going to take place in that system, and in particular down at Fort Ash, which is the sort of wrecked planetary base that's down there. And it was really nice. I won't deny that it was really fun that you had to land quickly, deploy the SRV, and get rid of your ship quickly, and then Thargoid ships would come down, and while you were racing around the base, there'd be Thargoids literally scanning the ground. It was very atmospheric. So I'm mildly sad that we've lost that, but not at all to the extent that I want that reversed, because I think it's the right thing to. And as Chris said, we're moving forward. The game's evolving. It's a live service game, so yeah, no issues with it at all.
So
go on, Chris.
Just one thing. I'm just reading the petition now. They could just put a beacon in to explain what happened here.
There's the. Oh, I suppose it's only a debris field, isn't it?
But there was a Galnet article about it.
Yeah, they could put one above the Proteus wave site. Above the planet that it's on, near the planet it's on, and it says this is the site of the, whatever, this is what happened. And that way the memory of what happened is preserved and the game can move on. Much like the same way that, the battlefields of some, oh God, I've had a brain fart now. Mons, all these things. There's other things that represent them. Yes, there's still bits. So like the broken Fort Ash, you can still see some of the trench layout near Ypres and all this sort of stuff. These things still exist, memories of what happened, but life has moved on. This is what will happen with this system. We may never fix that, like, hell's winking anus that is on that planet. But, we put a thing there to say this is what happened, and maybe they could even, draft some or generate some names of peoples on the megaships and almost have like a cenotaph in space. Say this is all the people who fell at the battle, the initial battle of 22460.
Yeah.
Well, my opinion is pretty much reflects everybody else's. No, don't restore it. I'll tell you why is because it would feel out of place. Now, the reason I say that is that there are in certain systems. Well, there were. I don't know whether they've removed them, but for absolutely ages, for years, in certain systems, there were these disabled megaships, and they were disabled by Thargoids. So even though the Thargoids had left the system, we hadn't seen the Thargoids for about a year, those Thargoid ships those megaships were still under attack by Thargoids in certain systems. I think Maya was one of them. The Imperial, the capital of Orissa was one of them, where they had these megaships, and you jump into them and you have to rescue the escape pods by making them eject. Now this was about the outside of the Pleiades. This was the only time you got the Thargoids doing it, and because there was no Thargoids anywhere around these systems, it felt so out of place. And it just felt to me like, yes, I was kind of glad that the content was there, but it felt it shouldn't be there, and it should be somewhere else. I mean, I know that the Thargoid War has now been done for the moment, and
constantly, permanently done, Colin.
No, but the gameplay itself could be brought back whenever they want. So, we haven't actually lost it. They could just flick a switch and before you know it, there's another Stargoid on the way somewhere. But for the moment, that content has been lost. And I think
wonder
there
if
are
the
still
map...
people...
Sorry, come on. Sorry,
Go on.
Karen. I was just going to say, I wonder if the map options will be taken off.
Well, if they do take those map options off, then you know that's the end of it. They're not bringing that content back. I hope they don't. I hope that content stays in there, and then at some point
I misclick on it all the time. Just get rid of it.
I know, and in about a year's time or something like that, when we've thought, right, that's the end of the Thargoids, and then all of a sudden someone has managed to colonize a system that's a little bit too close to something, and things just trigger, then flick of the switch and that's it. In comes another Titan, which I think would be brilliant. Not at the moment, because I think we're all burnt out about it. What's that?
Shadow power play. It's my theory. Yep.
Yeah, I reckon until we're colonized a certain batch of systems, and then that's it. Here comes the Stargoids again.
Oh, no. I really don't want that.
But I don't think we've had anybody say, no, restore it, have we?
No.
Well,
14 people?
No, now it's we're at, hang on, I'm refreshing just to double check. Just please hold. The website was running really slowly. I think it's had a lot of 17 signatures. That is less than I've seen on open letters.
Yeah. I'm afraid to say, okay, yes, I know that the content is we've lost that content for the moment. They can bring it back. I hope they will bring it back in the future, to be honest. This is my opinion anyway. But I'm quite happy for the galaxy to move on and us to have a break from Thargoids for the moment.
Where's my dredgers, Colin?
Well, I'd like the dredgers back. I'd like the dredgers taken over by Salvation and they start nomming other stations. I would love that.
Wow. That reminds me of that scene in iRobot where the massive demolition robot goes rampant and levels that house.
No, or even better, you have the space dredgers turn up at the Thargoid Titan ruins and start eating them. So you've only got a certain time before the dredger eats the entire ruin.
That's
evil. Then that's it. There is nothing left of the Thargoid Titan left at all.
Starts nomming up all the Titan drive components, you mean?
Oh, hell yeah.
But then if you shoot at it, it finds your fleet carrier and eats it, including all your ships.
Absolutely not. They are all going to Shindex.
And then it occasionally just enters atmosphere and just noms a base and leaves.
I would love that. What is it?
Oh no, we've made Reapers.
Yeah, we have actually.
Yeah, we've accidentally made Reapers and Elite Dangerous.
Fine by me.
Yeah, imagine that you have attacked our base. We know where your fleet carrier is, Commander. Nom 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 nom. Ah dear. So, are we all happy to move on?
Mm-hmm.
Just like the game is going to.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the power play standings have come out, and although there hasn't been any place changing, there has been a little bit of interest. Aisling is beginning to catch up on Mahan. She's now only 20 systems behind. She was 25 systems behind last week. Ooh, another couple of months, she might be taking over at the number one spot. Arissa, Grom, Lee Young, Ray, exactly the same place. They've all gained systems. However, this is the interesting thing. Antel and Archer are now level pegging at 861 systems each. And the thing is, Antel's only ahead because he's got slightly more population under his belt. But the federal president, shadow president, is doing a lot better than anybody else, actually, in climbing the places. You then got Petraeus Kane, who's catching Petraeus again. Petraeus, it seems that Antal and Petraeus, they're kind of staying level, but these other younger powers seem to be catching them. And the last three, of course, are Delane, Winters, and Torval. Everybody has gained at least one system this week, but what with Torval's state at the moment, that may change. So yeah, it'd be nice to actually see some movement between the powers actually going forward, because it's there's a lot of distance between sort of second and third, and then third and fourth, but further down the pecking list, it's actually quite tight. So we'll have to wait and see how that unfolds. So, moving on from there, I think we should take an ad break and then come back with our main discussion.
From the makers of the MB5 shaving drone comes the latest in personal grooming technology. Here at Saracen, we've heard your request loud and clear. You want something new. Applying all the recent technological advances. Introducing the Panther Clipper. Gone are the days of your unruly body hair making you look like a bedraggled alpaca. The Panther Clipper is the biggest, baddest shaver credits can buy. A shave so smooth it'll shave 10 milliseconds off your buckyball time. The new Panther Clipper from Saracen. It's exactly what you've been asking for.
Are you a commander who's tired of interstellar injustices? Do you find yourself constantly needing to express your displeasure? Look no further. Introducing the Manticore Pitchfork, crafted for the discerning commander who demands more than just a plasma gun to make their point. Made from ultra-durable, premium materials, these pitchforks are designed to handle even the most heated encounters with unruly aliens, malfunctioning droids, or pesky space pirates. Whether you're settling a dispute over asteroid mining rights or rioting about a non-compulsory feature, the Manticore Pitchfork has got you covered. With its sleek design and unbeatable durability, you'll be the envy of every commander in the galaxy. The Pitchfork will be in stores later this year, but if you cannot wait until then, you can get 3 months early access by visiting your nearest Frontline Solutions. Order today, and while stocks last, receive a free displeasure beacon. This lightweight handheld device combines all the functionality of a naked flame, but with 0 oxygen requirements. Now you can wield your torches in space, and even for a small fee, change their colour. The Manticore Pitchfork, when 280 characters aren't enough. Have you found yourself in a spot of bother with those Xenos messing up your backyard?
Oh, why are there Fargoids in my system?
Can't leave the house without fear of a hyperdiction?
Can't even get to work. Not that they've noticed, because everything's on fire there too.
Sick of the amount of time it takes to scrub the caustic damage from those hard-to-reach places?
Oh, fuck, oh, it fucking hurts, fuck, ow.
Introducing Dr. Pope's Caustic Burn Cream. Apply a few drops to the affected area and feel the euphoria of instant relief. After that, just wash the burn away.
It's like it was meant to happen.
It's so good, you can even use it on your ships.
Thanks, Dr. Pope. My ship smells brand new.
Dr. Pope's Caustic Burn Cream, the miracle that can happen. Side effects may include dizziness, constipation, an itching sensation, worship of an obviously aggressive false deity, death, and loss of sense of smell. Should you experience any of these symptoms, please contact your doctor immediately. Not Dr. Pope though, he's busy.
Lave radio? It's even louder than me. Hey, wait a minute, that can't be right.
And welcome back. Well, first of all, we've got to do a bit of crew business, because all members of the crew have got to answer this question that we asked at the beginning of the year. So, Apathis, or Pathy Chris, or Packet Crisps, whatever, choose your own. The main question is, we have to ask is, what are you hoping to see in Elite Dangerous in 2025? Just give us your general gut feeling, and then your one big moonshot, really what you'd like to see in there that is probably unlikely, but you just for a laugh.
Well, I'm hoping to see some sort of expansion of the bubble, maybe colonizing some systems.
No, that's cheating.
I'd go for
That's
the really.
cheating.
I thought I'd go for the really easy one.
No, that's cheating.
You know about that.
Stuff I don't know about.
That's the low hanging fruit of the low hanging fruit.
Yeah. Some probably couple of new ships, probably small and large, because we haven't had a large SEO capable one yet. So that would be good to see. And then sort of improvements around quality life stuff around exploration. I'd like to see. Yes, I've been doing quite a bit of that lately, and it's like, ooh, this could be improved or that could be improved. So I'd like to see some stuff around there.
Yeah, is it mostly the on foot side of exploration you'd like to see get a bit of love, or just exploration in general?
Yeah, probably more on the on foot side, especially with the exobios.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What about?
Yeah, I was going to say for the.
Yeah, go on.
The moonshot would be, I think, definitely some sort of scanner type thing on the ground for plants, so that you're going in the right direction, similar to the wave scanner that we've got for the geologicals on the SRV. But
right.
something along that sort of line.
Yeah.
For biologicals, so that you know where you're going.
Yeah, both on the ship and on the SRV.
Yeah, maybe it could be a module you could add to the ship, and the SRV scanner gets upgraded or something.
Well, that's cool. It's pretty much actually the majority of what people are hoping for. I'm not criticizing you for that. I'm just saying that you think alike.
Katie's added it all to the list. She's very mad at you for saying colonizing systems. She's called you an absolute dick. But she has added
my work here is done.
You get minus 10 points for that. 10 points from Apathis, please.
He doesn't get any points if that actually happens, because that is actually going to happen.
We know that's a thing. God damn it.
Well, here's an interesting thing. Sticking with the theme of exploration. No, there was a post on the forums this week on Monday, very long and detailed post about Distance Worlds 3. Now, judging by the reaction to this, for those of you, I'll give you a bit of background first. Distant Worlds 1 and 2 were both well-organized trips into the black. Organized. The first one, Distant Worlds 1, was a smaller, more focused one to get a whole load of exploration data and just see what's out there, with commanders supporting each other as they went. Distance World 2 was a lot more ambitious. They all decided that the idea was not only to get to Sagittarius A, but to get to Beagle Point, and then come back again. Well, that was the issue, and we had a vast amount of people, approximately 14,000 players, take part in Distant Worlds 2. Yeah, it was a lot. They all took part in not all 14,000 made it, because I know that Ben and Shan both went out there and really enjoyed the trip out. The trip back, not so much.
I mean, I believe I've seen a few complaints, not complaints, but a few grumbles about DW2 saying I think DW2 was a very much a guided trip out there and then make your own way back. And making your own way back rather killed a lot of people.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, and I think at this point there was a station at Sagittarius A when they started.
No, there wasn't.
Wasn't there?
No,
that was part of Distant Worlds. This is the only thing I know as a non
They had a mining
non-explorer.
CG, didn't they?
Yeah,
That was it,
there was a
yes.
whole CG for it to get that station out, like Explorers Anchorage. That was what was brought in. I think it's a system like right next door to Sag A. I've been there. I've got to Sag A. There's a bucketball race to get to Sag A. That's the reason I've been there. But yeah, that was part of Distant Worlds too. Something that Frontier did.
Yeah. So and also because of Distant World 2, there was also a whole lot of a bit of annoyance with distant ganks that followed them along and tried to kill as many people as possible who were taking part. So yeah, that went down like a lead balloon for a lot of people in Distant Worlds. Well, the organisers are thinking about doing it again, so they put a request up on the exploration part of the forum to say we're thinking of doing this. Is there anybody interested? To which everybody went, yeah. Well, there's been a lot of positive reaction to it.
Yeah, it's like 500 posts. Just looking, 535 posts so far, and I would say about 90% of them are basically hell yes, count me in.
Yeah. So I mean, as long as it's organised and things like that. Well, the thing that I want to know from everybody, I mean, if this was organised, would you actually take part or help organise it?
You want to go round? Or well,
you know what? Actually,
let me
Alec,
fill
I'll
the
start with you
silence.
first. Actually,
Let me fill the embarrassing silence.
Yeah.
I adored the idea of both the Distant Worlds expeditions, and two in particular. I mean, it was huge. There were weekly newsletters. It was even like was it Hadfield, the astronaut? I think he was up in the space station at the time, and he even sent congratulations. You know, on the launch about Distant
I didn't hear
Worlds
about
2.
that, but wow.
Yep. He recorded a message saying good luck to everyone heading out on Distant World 2. It was featured in New Scientist. You know, it was huge. But I didn't go on either of them. Partly, mostly because I don't have any alts, and I kind of don't want alts. It's not how I play the game. I think I would struggle with an alt. Not only in the idea of getting the alt, you know, leveled up enough and get enough credit and stuff to actually be able to do anything with it, but then I would sit down at Elite and think, well, who am I going to be today? I don't know. It messes with my head canon for why I play Elite having an alt.
Yeah.
So, and because of that, I'm just not prepared to go away for 3 months because I will miss stuff like buckyball races and things, which is the heart of why I play Elite. And so in truth, I probably wouldn't go, much as I love the idea.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm going to go over to psykit, who I've got, and I've got a feeling how this is going to go.
I'm so sorry. But I have to say it. I would rather shit in my hands and clap. There is nothing. Nothing I can imagine worse than going on a months-long exploration trip. Fair play to all of you that love it, and it must be brilliant. It must be wonderful for you, and I hope you have a really lovely time if they organise it and you all go. And I look forward to seeing all of your stellar photography. I look forward to hearing all about the trip and all of that. But I will be in the bubble enjoying myself and doing my mandatory weeklies.
Yeah.
And I have multiple out accounts. None of those.
God
None of
almighty.
them are going.
Somebody save us. We're sounding like a right bunch of old sourpusses.
No, I love the idea of it. It sounds great, and I love hearing people passionate about exploration, but I've tried it.
Do you know, I
didn't like it.
I felt so bad reading that forum thread, and every single one was, oh God, yes, it's the best thing I've ever done. Count me. And I just was reading it all thinking, I'm probably not going to go.
Yeah.
Is it me? Maybe it's me.
I also looked down it and went, yeah, not for me.
Oh dear.
But I didn't comment on it.
No,
I didn't comment on it. I read like what they're planning on doing and all of that kind of stuff. And there's a couple of bits about it that I have slight reservations about. And I think there has to be a caution when it comes to them talking about writing a narrative around it that isn't directly connected to something that Frontier's doing. With that kind of thing, when the paragraph where they talk about getting Drew involved concerns me, because it feels like it's not going to be something that Frontier are going to be able to get us well behind if they're trying to write their own narrative that doesn't fit with what Frontier is wanting to do, and then then it might be more difficult. That would be my only concern. But if that's the way they want to go, that's absolutely fine.
I think
Frontier's just to point out, Darren in the chat has said, well, another problem was the designer of Point of Contact at Frontier was a bit of a dick.
Well, it's a bloody good job that he's not there anymore, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just on that. Claire's comment, I was just going to chip in and say, so far, at least, the sort of things Frontier the community stuff that Frontier have been weaving into Galnet is kind of a reaction rather than a driving it, which, I don't know, seems quite nice. So I don't know that I have a problem with the idea of Drew coming up with a sort of backbone narrative for the expedition, which the community can then follow and do, and I don't quite know what he's got in mind, whether it will be like a sort of an adventure story with things to do and discover, and then Frontier reacting to that, and if it's good, putting it into Galnet. I think rather than I can't see Frontier really heavily getting involved to the extent that they're going to write a driving narrative for DW2. I can see them reacting to what happens.
I mean, the only way I see that working is not actually doing a narrative, but reacting to how the players do. So you're kind of doing an online diary as if you were a commander taking part in journaling the whole experience, so that if all of a sudden, say, there is Distant Gangs 3 that comes in and tries to wreck the convoy, Battlestar Galactica style, then you've got something to talk about then. But I don't see there being a kind of a narrative where they think, oh, we got to this planet here and then this stuff happened. I don't. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just that's something that just like, for me. Also, I've got no hand in this, or I'm not going to be doing. I've already clarified. I'm not going to be doing it. So fill your boots. But that would be from a like an externally looking at it and going, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, Apathis, is this the kind of thing that would appeal to you?
I'm tempted to go on it. Even though I was playing Elite back when the first two Distant Worlds were going along, it was like, I don't really want to spend a few months away from the bubble sort of thing. But now I've got an alt account, I'll probably take that out there along and go along and just dip in and out as things happen.
Great, we've got our Lave radio correspondent. He's just volunteered.
Yeah, anything happens in the bubble, I'll point my ship towards it, and you'll get a nice long range screenshot or something.
Yeah, I mean, okay, and the Chris Mark 5. What about you?
If it wasn't happening right at this point, then I probably would be tempted, but the problem is we know in theory that colonization is probably soonish. If I bugger off for 3 months, I might miss all the, like, nice bits to steal and colonize. So yeah, that would suck. I think it's just kind of bad timing. If you've got any interest in colonization, you're kind of taking yourself out of the game for 3 months. Unless you've got alts, of course. If you've got alts, then fair enough. You can do your thing. But for me, who's only got one account, if I had to choose between the two, I'm going to choose colonization in this instance. I'm a bit confused about what the whole narrative part of it is exactly. Did the first two have, like, a story writer involved?
They didn't have a story. They didn't have anybody journaling it. They just they did have a lot of people, making a lot of videos about it, and there was a lot of excited, people just, doing their own diaries and things like that as they went out. The thing was that it was kind of like a guided thing where you'd have scouts who would be about 2 or 3 weeks ahead of the rest of the expedition, and they would look for interesting points of, good places to take photos from, if you like. Because, but I don't know. It's the thing was it took the guys, I think, 3 to 6 months to actually get it all together to organize in the first place. So even if they started right now, colonization would be sort of like 3 to 4 months in before Distant World 3 would be ready, if it goes to that level. But yeah, I mean, I've got my own issues with it because if you go out and enjoy it, I saw how everybody enjoyed it last time. I don't have an alt that could do it because I know that my main wouldn't. I've got 2 alts on the way to Colonia that have not got there yet, and I've got my power play commander. And I might, if one of my alts gets to Colonia, then I'd probably pop over and try and intercept them, if you see what I mean. But I don't see my main character or my main commander going and doing it, and I felt it was a little bit. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad that this is coming back and people are organising it again. It's just that I think I have a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth after someone said that, let's do Distant World 3 now that Odyssey's in. And this was when Odyssey was not in the best shape. But the problem was first of all, the reaction that they had to it was, no, we don't want anything to do with it. We're never going to do it again.
Yeah,
not going to do. It was such a negative impact where when they did react to, is there going to be a Distant World 3? No, Odyssey killed the game for us. We don't want to have anything to do with it.
And to be fair, people do change their minds. They're allowed to change their minds.
I know, but this is the ironic thing, because exploration at the time was the best part on Odyssey. And it hasn't been updated since. So it's probably going to be exactly
hang on,
the same.
No. I think people have gotten more complacent with exploration. Just to clarify, I don't necessarily agree that exploration. I don't think anything about Odyssey at that point was particularly good.
Actually, I take issue with that because exploration for me saved Odyssey. Because
I'm glad for you.
Yeah, well, this was my point, is that in my opinion at the time, if Distant Worlds 3 was supposed to happen, it would have been fine because the exploration mechanics were pretty much the same. The planets were actually quite nice. There's still the plant scanning and stuff is still as pretty as it was back then. It's actually improved a little since, but it was still
planetary
pretty good
tech was
then.
really bad, Colin. Back when Odyssey first dropped, and we lost oh my god, I can't even remember the name of that amazing planet, but we lost so many iconic planets, and then screenshots went up of cut and paste textures and all of that kind of shit. you can't, like, people who watch me defend a explorer, but you can't argue with an explorer who's gone, oh my god, everything is so much worse because I can see these textures repeating all the time and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Well, this was the thing, because I didn't see them.
Odyssey Planet Tech, very, very nearly
Controversial.
broke me.
It was controversial.
I very
and-
nearly walked away from the game.
Yeah.
Odyssey Planet Tech, very nearly.
But that Planet Tech hasn't changed, really. You still got the repeating textures, although there's not as many now.
No, it's not as bad, and they've improved the look of it. And yes, I'm still heartbroken. I find it very difficult to go back to Horizons, because the minute I see Horizons landscapes, I feel very, very sad.
Remind me the name of that planet that there was.
Pamesh, 2 C's.
Yeah, Pamesh. Yeah, that's the one that I'm thinking about. There were loads of them, but yeah.
Well, you see, this is the thing that I really get quite annoyed about, because it was completely the opposite for me.
Yeah, I know we've spoken, and it's it's interesting.
Yeah, because I actually went out exploring, and because of the plants and because of the planets that were there, I found it a very uplifting experience. What I did find was that the Horizons planets hadn't been updated. The Horizons planets had been kind of left behind and left as an afterthought. But because I wasn't looking for the Horizons planets, I didn't notice them. Because, everybody, if you think that's bad, think back to the Beige Plague.
No, I wasn't there at the time, Colin.
Oh, God. Every single planet, the same color. Honestly, it was awful.
But I feel like commanders have a little bit of merit in like, as Alec was saying, I feel like your experience of not having noticed that, I think you were in the minority there, Colin. Even I noticed it, and I don't leave the fucking bubble.
Yeah. Well, the whole point was the fact that everybody was so vicious about it and threw their toys out the pram, and then all of a sudden they're coming back and acting as if nothing's happened. It just, I don't know. It just finds okay. Welcome back. Yep. Organise you just. I hope you enjoy it. But
Colin, I think partly Colin on that front. I think I understood specifically Aramis Camsel's reasons for not wanting to do it. He, with both DW1 and DW2 and anything else, he always wanted to do something new. He never saw the point of just doing an expedition again for the sake of it. So I think when Odyssey dropped, and he hoped it would offer the idea of a distant worlds exploration, something new, I think he quite reasonably felt it didn't. And I know you sort of disagree on the look of the planets and arguably the exobiology and the sort of stuff that LCU full like one and others have done of collecting all the species in the codex would actually probably have given a good angle, but he felt it wasn't enough to do DW3 at the time, because jump ranges had increased, the sense of exploring the galaxy had gone. They'd done that. So what did DW3 have to offer? I think possibly the reason he's come back now, it's the 10-year anniversary, and maybe the focus isn't the galaxy and it isn't the exploration. It's the community event. He hasn't said that explicitly, but I mean, you just have to look at the forum thread. The demand is there, I guess.
Oh yeah, like I said, I probably will join in with one of my exploration commanders, but there is that little sort of niggle in the back of my head going, they could have come back.
You harbour a little bit of resentment towards things people said 4 years ago, and that's understandable. Some people like you, if that is a resentment that you have, and that's entirely valid for the same reason that like chat's gone a bit wild, and there's a little bit of like discourse about why you would pay attention to one person and all of that kind of thing, and it's been laid out very nicely as well. So thanks for all of your comments in the chat. I am enjoying looking at those as well.
Yeah, well, we're going to put a dot on it. My conclusion, my feeling on it is I'm glad it is happening. I do have this little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. But if it does happen, I'm glad if it will. I just don't know whether I'd be joining in with it. You see, see what I mean?
Yeah, I think we all feel kind of like a little bit like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially when you remember comments that the people here who have said in the past, and if it had been up to them, they wanted Odyssey over and done with, and we wouldn't have had any of what we've had since.
Yeah,
and they'd come back going, okay, you've toughed it out, and we know the game's good now, so now we're back. It's been good for the last 2-3 years, mate. You just haven't given it the time of day.
Hey, you know what? If people are back now, that's fine. That's fine. Have welcome back to Elite.
Yes,
it's a really good game. I think you'll probably still enjoy it.
Yeah, just ignore the grumbling person in the corner. He actually really wants you there.
Well, if any Distant World 3 people, if you're here when you're out, can you look for the Dredgers? I'm missing them terribly, and I would like them back.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Oh, and there was lightning plants.
He wants his clan spelled CLAN. Before I was just popping that
Jesus
one.
Christ. Okay, so in another way to discuss about in another way to try and convince Claire on exploration and what makes it so good, I used the question of the week to actually ask people why do you like to explore? Try and convince me around it. And also, do you have a favorite exploration story? I have an exploration story that I'd love to share, but I think we'll go through the answers first, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
You're up, Epaphras.
Okay, let's see. Oh god, I'm gonna mess this up. Edlerwise?
Yeah, it's Ben. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I could just say Ben. That'll be easier.
No, people don't say it right either.
Yeah, Ben can't say it, so it's fine.
Yeah. He says, I'm not an explorer at heart, but I love Distant Worlds 2, the mass jumps, the sense of community, and I'd love to sign up for a Distant Worlds 3.
Okay, we have a volunteer.
Oh, we've got the Lavian volunteer. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Someone who's genuinely interested there. So yeah.
Amazing.
Done, Ben. I have Witch Space, Crystal Fields and their lightning. First encounter with one was one past the core pre-Distance World 2 station. So was a mission ender, but still is a huge memory. Ah, right. Yes, these are the things that the crystal spheres are, or the crystals at Lagrange points, aren't they?
Yeah.
The spiky boys.
Spiky boys, yeah, they are fantastic. There's a whole load of these things that are hidden that are in deep space, and they are amazing if you find
I'm sure
them.
they're lovely.
Yeah, there's two I really still want to see. There's myself. I've obviously seen screenshots. There's the big. What are the trees called? The something trees. They've got really long arms.
Trees?
And they spin around.
Not brain trees. You
No.
mean? Do you mean like the ones with the hearts?
And the hearts, the void hearts. I really want to see, but they're a long way out. And then there are these. They're called something trees. Somebody. Gaia trees. Yeah, maybe. Thanks, Phoenix.
I don't call trees.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, yeah, there's cool stuff out there, and it is a long way out. You have to.
Yeah, it is a long way out.
Yeah, still on my list. Not many more things on my to-do list, but that's one. I have elite sightseeing tours.
I wonder if they're into exploration.
Well, let's find out. They say, I'd like to see wonderful things. Wonderful things sometimes take some effort to see. The money from exploration is a nice bonus and keeps us in ships and equipment. The galaxy is a beautiful thing, and a special photograph is something you can go back to.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Jump Drive Flyer says, exploration is everything. The unknown on the horizon, what will be discovered. The possibility of discovering something nobody else ever has is what drives it. Who knows, there may be yet a Guardian outpost still out there untouched, or Thargoid homeworld to find.
Excellent.
I've got Forest Barbarian. My squadron is heading out soon on our own expedition even. I've been prepping and planning for weeks, greatly looking forward to my first real venture out into the black, and for the resulting shenanigans that's sure to devolve.
Nice. I think if you explore with a group of people, I think that might be cool.
It makes a
acquiesce that
difference.
That's right.
It really does make a difference if you're doing it with a bunch of people, especially if you're constantly doing mass jumps together.
Okay, I got Slack Rabbit 76. Honestly, pretty much doing anything elite related to VR is a beautiful thing, but with the right audiobook music and pinch of onion ahead, exploration is literally otherworldly.
Okay, you have to be high. I got you. Taking notes.
Yes, well, I've got Epsilon Orbital. The beauty of our galaxy is second to none, and Elite portrays it better than any other game. Well, is there any other game that has the whole galaxy?
What's that game that isn't really a game? Star Engine? Anyway, never mind.
Yeah, the mystery of the universe.
Space Engine.
The mystery of the universe and the things in our galaxy are so alluring that I found myself drawn into the black almost immediately after I got Elite Dangerous. Yeah, I understand that. Your own private Captain Picard there.
Nice. It's obvious. Yeah. Commander Captain L. Harden. The loneliness. The feeling in your guts to know that you're so far away from everybody that if something goes wrong, you're in deep shit. Nobody's coming for you. You're on your own. Alone.
Well, apart from the fuel rats and the hull seals, if you want to call them.
And the $15,000 commanders that have come with you.
Nicey says, exploring is mainly what I use to wind down at the end of a long day. Pretty views, little stress apart from fuel, and easy to pick up and drop. But if you're fucking miles away, you can't just like pick it up and drop it, because then if you've got something else you want to do in the bubble...
Well, yeah, that's why I have alts.
Because I
guess, the alts for you.
Yeah.
I guess the little stress depends on not suffering from FOMO.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Couldn't be me.
Yeah.
Okay, Homburger 666 says, I've always been searching for beautiful things to screenshot. Rare things, but things that have never been visited before, like a ringed oxygen moon with a highly elliptical close orbit to a wide ringed gas giant. Or a planet that has a black hole sunrise. Wouldn't mind seeing one of those.
Yeah.
Planets like the World of Death that have an orbit inside of a white dwarf. The exclusion zone of a white dwarf. Like I said, rare, beautifully photogenic, undiscovered galactic phenomena. It means I can't linger too long in a system and need to be constantly on the move. It's not so much about the destination or even the distance travelled, but it's to see as many undiscovered systems as possible to lower the odds of me stumbling across stellar nirvana.
Logan's got such a way with words, hasn't he?
You should write a blog.
He should write a blog. He should write a blog and be amazing with it. That's okay. All right. I get that it might be kind of fun. All right.
In a chill way. That's the thing you got to remember. Chill.
Yeah, but I really like murdering NPCs.
Yeah, well, yeah, we kind of know that, Claire.
That's really fun with friends.
Okay, so I've got Murderbot.
That's
appropriate. I love finding stuff that no one has seen before. Not to mention the dopamine hit when you discover something unique or beautiful. One day I'll find my white whale, a ringed ELW.
I've only ever
found those.
I've only ever found one, and that's actually next to Aliath.
Yeah, I feel like I've visited some. Isn't there one out Colonia or a couple out of Colonia? I can't remember. I'm sure I've seen some.
Yeah.
I think Kremen might have his name on one.
I've not discovered one. but I have seen some.
I've got Commander Schnails. I think I've used this answer before. It's just nice being out there on your own sometimes. Honestly, I think if ExoBio was a real job, Elite Dangerous style, I'd sign up tomorrow. Driving around a new landscape just so that you can, finding a planet's a bit of a bonus, and having my name on a system is nice, but most the ones with my name are now so far out in the middle of nowhere, I'm probably the only person that will ever know. Yeah. That's probably true, unless you're the pioneer of what becomes a well-trodden route. The chances of someone else finding your planet or your system is very remote. But then again, it is nice to have your name in the game. Never underestimate that.
Yep, people do love that. Commander the Stig's cousin says, for me, it's chasing the high of finding the next great thing. What if I'm the one to find a new Guardian site, or even Raxler? Once that high inevitability falls off, what keeps me out in the dark is finding all the small oddities, like a gas giant with an absurd number of moons, or two Earth-like worlds orbiting each other. Stepping into a planet and looking for xenobiology scans is a good rush too. What if I see something out of the ordinary? Out in the dark, it's me and the universe. No pirates, no loadout metas. Just me, my ship, and a galaxy full of small adventures. I like that. Galaxies full of small adventures. Nice.
I like that as well. That's really nice.
Cute.
Finally, No Ski says, so you're thrusting along, nose down, close to the ground on some CO2 atmosphere planet near the core, hunting for that elusive third Osseous, starting to curse the developers for their overly bashful flora, when you look up and realize you're surrounded by a stunning landscape of low hills and volcanic caldera and soak in the view. There's no actual land in that scape, but in some sense you're present in a vista with its own species of objective existence, a unique locus within the algorithmic framework that realizes the colossal virtual space of Elite Dangerous, and it's yours alone to roam and contemplate as long as you care to. Look up a bit further, notice the densely star-studded sky, each star reachable and potential host to novel or familiar attractions, or to nothing at all, and the dizzying immensity of the computational universe you're inhabiting can strike home. Since I rendered my first Mandelbrot Mountain and played my first roguelike sometime in the previous century, I've been a sucker for virtual spaces and procedural generation. The sheer, absolute, indescribable scale at which Elite Dangerous combines these into a graphically plausible galaxy, traversable in depth, is a potent and intoxicating brew I have trouble putting down. That's why I like exploration. I never did find that third Osseous. That's my favourite answer to a question of the week I have ever heard.
That's beautiful.
And has almost sold me on exploration. However, my FOMO is just too high and I have multiple out accounts.
Yeah. So what's your exploration story then, Claire?
I do have one. So occasionally, back along when nothing was happening in the galaxy, so we're talking like pre-Odyssey. I went out for a little exploration trip, and I went out at like 6,000 light years in a anaconda, in an anaconda made of paper. You know, another one of my anacondas with a big jump range and holistic shields and paper hull, and jumped out as far as I could, and then started doing like little lines of economic routes, just forwards and back and forwards and back, just like trying to get as many cool exploration discoveries as I could. And I built up, this was back in the day when we didn't go and kill Thargoids for billions upon billions of credits. And I'd built up quite a lot, and it was really, really nice. And I was streaming, because most of my Elite is played on stream. And I was streaming, and someone went, hey, you're quite close to this amazing ringed planet I found. You should go to it. because the planet is kind of small, but the ring is massive. Like the ring is like miles away, and I was like, "This is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, let's go. This will be some content. I can go and have a look at this cool planet." And I took I took some screenshots of it, and I was like, "Hey, can you see the ring from the planet? Shall we go and land on the planet?" And you guys are all gonna know this story, but as I went plummeting down to the surface of the planet, just before I hit the planet and exploded, I went, "What's the gravity here?" And the resulting fireball and sadness was a bad time. And I feel, no, I don't want to pinpoint a time when I said I would never explore ever again. I don't know if that has completely changed. To be fair, the guy who suggested it was utterly mortified. At the time, I didn't know that you could see on like your main dashboard what the gravity of something is.
Yeah.
But he was utterly mortified and so apologetic. And I was like, mate, it's fine. It's just time. It's just time. But I know Commander Nutter is still about and still doing things, but it was Commander Nutter, and I appreciate you and thank you for making that recommendation and putting me off exploration for life.
I must admit, the first time you lose a ship out in the black and you suddenly realize how much exploration data you have lost, it's a big one to come back from. I think I've lost over a billion in one trip, and that was... Oof. Yeah, at the time I thought, I've lost my ship. And then it's... Oh, well, I'll just be back a couple of hundred light years. I wasn't. I was back several thousand, and then I suddenly realized, that's...
yeah. I genuinely don't think I've explored since.
It's not even the money, really. It is the time. It's the sudden realization that everything you've done for the last week or 2 weeks or 2 months has just gone down the toilet.
Yeah. Oh, but the worst one was the guy who was being escorted back after he's been out for about 6 to 9 months, was coming back. He was being escorted and applauded by everybody. And then somebody said they had a weapons malfunction and shot him down before he was able to dock.
No.
Oh, yeah, the guy had to go into hiding. The guy who shot, it was, yeah.
Is it like a bogus escort? They weren't...
Well, this is the thing. People think he's a bogus expert, but the commander who said, "No, it genuinely was an accident. I am so sorry." But basically, he was. I didn't think he could go back in the open ever again. Yeah, that was a toughie. Apathis, have you got a good story?
Not really a good story, I don't think. But just before that, I was just going to say, who can we speak to at Frontier to make psykits weeklies exploring?
Oh, no! Oh, no! I'm dreading it. I am fully dreading it.
Is that a thing? Can you get that?
Yeah, you can get you have to find I think systems have to be a single system has to be worth that amount as well. So I'm dreading it. I know it's going to happen, and I am scared.
I mean,
is that when they're suddenly not mandatory?
No, they're still mandatory. I'm gonna do it, but everyone's gonna hear how mad I am about it.
Warm up that soapbox.
It's gonna be all of your motherfucking problem.
I mean, the thing about exploration for me, exploration did save Odyssey for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said earlier, it was the fact that they'd actually. I mean, I understand Alex's issue with the Old Horizons planets, and I've got the same issue because, yes, although I don't notice them, when you do notice them, they're pretty blooming obvious. These repeated patterns. I just haven't noticed them as much as everybody else seems to. Yeah. But like I said, the fact that the atmospheric planets that I went to and some of the vistas and some of the the landscapes when you get close. They were absolutely fantastic, especially if you land on an ammonia atmosphere that's got 6 or 7 plants on it, and even though in real life, if there were planets out there that did harbour life, there'd be a lot more than just 6 or 7 plant types on.
I remember you doing that now, actually, Colin. I remember thinking that's not a bad. We were all, well, I say but those of us that were in the bubble trying to get to grips with all the new Odyssey mechanics, doing settlement raids and what have you. I suppose we're having the worst time because of the performance.
Oh yeah, the performance there was awful.
And actually, in hindsight, just going, they need time to fix this. I'm going exploring is a really good call, I think.
Yeah, because that's what I did. Because I mean, I'd seen what had happened in the alpha, and I thought, right, no, I just really want to go exploring because some of the views that we'd seen on those planets were really good.
Yeah, good job.
And that was the trigger for me for exploring, because before then I couldn't be bothered with exploring because it just felt boring after a while, after the 50th beige plague planet system, where you've got one gas giant and all the others which were yellow rocks, which is probably scientifically accurate, but it is boring. But then the fact that you could land on those planets, it was like a breath of fresh air, even though you can't breathe there. Anyway, I'm going off on it. So, right. Any final exploration stories? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up.
I've got a very brief one. Which is when I went out to Sagittarius A, which I will admit was more of a race than an exploration thing. It was, doing the A-star run. So it was basically a one-sitting deal when it was hard to do, and it took me 15 hours. So I sat down in the morning and I played Elite 15 hours to get to Sag A. It was fun. I made a whole big thing of it. And at that time, and this was absolutely unheard of, there was a griefer had parked themselves at Sagittarius A so that they could destroy explorers when they turned up.
I remember that.
It was horrifying, absolutely horrifying. That was happening when I was doing this, and so after 15 hours, I was probably the most genuinely terrified I'd ever been in Elite of what I was going to find. And as it turned out, one of the people that had done lots of runs to Sag A for Buckyball was out there, and was basically able to sort of, keep an eye out on Sag A for me as I was making my last dozen or so jumps. Was basically there as in a big, fat, heavily armed anaconda waiting to protect me. But I'll never forget that. I was genuinely terrified that my destination was I was just going to get destroyed the minute I arrived.
Oh, you're such a cinnamon roll, aren't you?
Wow.
Only just found out what that meant.
Amazing, Colin. What a dated reference, and I love it.
Exactly. Right. Okay, then. Shoutouts. Our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, it broadcasts on a Thursday from 8:30. You can tune in at twitch.tv/Hutton Orbital Truckers, or if you just want the audio, go to radio.forthemug.com. For the discerning commander that likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC. We'll give out our usual shout-outs to the following Elite Dangerous podcasts. So hello to the Guard Frequency, who do other space games as well. And if you do like your cheese, there's also the Loose Screws podcast over there in the States, who have been making continual rude references at our way pronunciation. But if you speak French,
I just let the funky music do the talking.
Excellent. There's the Elite Dangerous podcast. Also, they do these fantastic custom missions, so we will always recommend them. Following on this, we have the latest Galnet News Digest that's provided by Commander Witherspoon and Commander Beetlejude. We'd just like to thank everybody who's chipped in the chat this week. And also special mentions goes to Penny Blackburn, Lave Radio Tech, wonder who that could be, and Soccer42, who have kept Apathis company in the bar. We'll also give special thanks to Commander Tokuso, JN Trax, and Alan Stroud, who all create music that we use in the show. But that's it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, you can find all the contact links in the Helms/Contact Us menu of the laveradio.com website. Do let us know if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 and streamed out at laveradio.com/live. So, thanks to Apathis.
Thank you.
Thanks to Claire.
Yay! We got through an episode. Whoop whoop.
And how many daiquiris have you gone through today?
I haven't today because last week I was unhinged at this point, so I didn't. I made the active decision not to do it.
Thanks to Alec.
Thanks, Colin. Night all.
No. And of course, special thanks goes to today's tech specialist, the Chris Mark V.
You're welcome.
Excellent. So until next time, Commanders, fly safe, and if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Is your life like this?
Sounds like someone having an orange inserted into them. You need a safe word.
Space can be lonely.
I'm going to see the galaxy.
Galnet News Digest, 21st of January 3311. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, should Thargoids be invited back to HIP 22460? And should there be another Distant Worlds expedition?
A leading bug hunter has demanded that the Thargoids be allowed to recolonise the system where the Second Thargoid War started. Commander Firion of the Vortex Squadron has expressed concern that the total elimination of Thargoids would lead to humanity forgetting how to fight the aliens. Another invasion by the Thargoids is inevitable, although we don't yet have any idea whether it might be next year or next century. Firion argues that we should keep our anti-Xeno pilots in training for this day, and he started a petition to get the Thargoids to return to HIP 22460, from which they departed after being beaten in battle by anti-Xeno pilots from the AXI, XSF, and other organisations on Sunday the 12th of January. Firion stopped short of accusing Commander Meccan, who organised the event, of attempted xenogenocide, although it may seem to some that Meccan is modelling himself on his hero, Salvation, whose attempts to wipe out the Thargoids went so disastrously wrong. In any case, there is a happy compromise to end this story. There's general agreement amongst anti-Xeno groups that the California Nebula, which continues to have a vibrant community of Thargoids, should be declared a sanctuary for the aliens, which will be permitted to continue terrorising the mainly Alliance settlements in the region. The sanctuary will be funded by tourism, with a Thargon swarm petting zoo, and a sustainable and responsible programme of allowing visitors to cull excess Thargoids. For a small fee, anti-Xeno tourists will be permitted to keep hunting trophies, such as Thargoid hearts, which make a lovely centrepiece on any dining table. The Vortex Squadron is operating a carrier shuttle to the California Nebula hunting grounds, while the Anti-Xeno Initiative will be running its Finance Friday events in the California Sector BA-A E6 system at the high-intensity Anti-Xeno Combat Zone around Planet 4. Even the Thargoids seem to be enjoying themselves.
The people that organised the 2 Distant Worlds expeditions to Beagle Point are thinking about organising a third, and they're interested in hearing what people think. Distant Worlds took the idea of lone explorers and reimagined them as commanders with social skills, travelling in a huge ragged convoy, doing occasional mass jumps and turning up at pre-designated waypoints at a pre-designated time and camping out as a cluster of ships on distant planetary surfaces. The first 2 expeditions took place before fleet carriers had been invented. Jump ranges were low, and without any deep space stations to repair the ships taking part, they were endurance events. The destination? The furthest easily reachable star from Sol was underwhelming. It was travelling with other explorers that was the point. Distant Worlds 2 was a victim of its own success, with around 14,000 commanders signed up, 10 times the number who took part in the first expedition. The organising committee did a lot more organising than enjoying the travel, and so there was a long hiatus. The 3rd Distant Worlds expedition, should it happen, will start at the beginning of next year, in January 3312, the 10th anniversary of the first one. Where it will go and what it will attempt to achieve are topics up for discussion. The organisers are keen to avoid it becoming an outing for a cluster of fleet carriers, although they plan to bring along a couple that commanders can use as mobile bases as the expedition progresses. There may be challenges and initiatives along the way. To the delight of many, retired author, scribbling Senator Drew Wagar has threatened to write a narrative around the expedition. If you have thoughts about a possible Distant Worlds expedition next year, the organising committee would love to hear from you.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.